everybody, and welcome to Vinyl Treasures. I'm your host, Johnny G, John Galindo, coming to you live each and every Saturday only here on Top Shelf Oldies. I want to welcome you to the February 13th, 2021 Vinyl Treasures show. I apologize for being late, but something happened with my OBS broadcasting. I don't know if I should blame Braden or not, but it said it was running already, so maybe it was connected to Facebook. I don't know what happened, because these guys asked me to be in, to watch them play their records at 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm happy to do that and to show them, my 45s and whatnot, but I didn't check to see. It was earlier in the week. I don't know what happened. It kind of messed up my settings because I wasn't getting any camera. It said I was already open, so I don't understand what was going on unless I was connected to their connection. But anyway, it's enough of my babbling here. Got a whole bunch of records to play tonight. Lots of requests. Welcoming you to the Vinyl Treasure show. Tonight it's all 50s and early 60s edition. And we opened up tonight's 50s edition with saxophonist Lee Allen. I always love that record. That's his biggest hit. Came out on Al Silver's Ember label in December of 1957. The song was called Walkin' with Mr. Lee, and I really love that tune. It was number 54 on Billboard, 46 on Cashbox. I'm sure it did well in many markets in the United States. Number 11 on WCOP out of Boston, Massachusetts. Unfortunately, he passed away October 18th of 1994 at 67 from cancer, but we remember Mr. Lee Allen and his band from December 57. We open up with Walkin' with Mr. Lee on the Ember label. Well, enough of my babbling here. Lots of requests. We're going to open up with a request. I haven't said hello to anybody, so I don't know who's here or not. So please bear with me. I will get back. I am in the Top Shelf Oldies chat, so that is working, Charlene. So I don't know what was wrong with that. But anyway, a ton of requests tonight, actually. Thank you all for sending them in. I have to see. I don't think I can fit them all anymore. I might have to limit to maybe 3 requests, maybe 3 or 4, because I get a lot. So I just don't have 3 hours. I'm here for 3 hours. I love to be here for 3 hours and spin your requests. But anyway, let's open up with a request here. The vocal portion, this is for Rick in Philly. This group is from Brooklyn, New York. They had 2 releases on the New York City Rim label. Rick requested their second of 2. This is with Tico Wilshire and the orchestra. We go back to December 1958. They're called the Adelphis. It's on the Rim label. Going out to Rick, it's called Kiss a Kiss.
Kiss, kiss, hug, hug, let me know. Kiss, 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 hug, 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 let me know. Kiss, 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 hug, 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 baby, 'cause I love you so. I wanna kiss, kiss, kiss your lips. Kiss, kiss, kiss your lips. Kiss, kiss, kiss your sweet lips. Kiss your lips, kiss, kiss, kiss your sweet lips, tip of those honey drips. Kiss, 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 baby, 'cause I love you so. I wanna hug, hug, hug you tight, hug, 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 hug you tight, hug, 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 oh so tight, squeeze you with all my might. Hug you tight with all of my might.
have to be careful with that record, as it has a terrible gash inside there. I don't want it to ruin my needle. But anyway, that's by request for Rick in Philly, December 1958 release, the Adelphis there on the Rim record label. Kiss a Kiss is the name of that song. Actually comes two ways. I'll show you the flip side of that. That is the true first press there. But anyway, let's continue here and also have a bunch of flip sides from last week's show. Here's the first. As last week I played a request for George Tompkins by the Heart Spinners. Heart Spinners, a group out of Springfield, Massachusetts. It was their only release that came out on Ben Smith's Extra label. The side was called Oh So Much, which is a cool ballad. The flip side is a cool jump. It was co-written by the lead singer. His name is Earl Colton. This one from August of 1957. It's on the Extra label. Give a listen to the Heart Spinners. It's called Ive Searched.
I've searched and I said I love this world for someone like you, and I hope it comes true. Oh yes, my darling, we'll never part here. We met our one idea. We never part. Oh yes, my darling, to the east and to the west here. You are the girl I love the best here. We never part. Well, darling, I need you, I do. Well, darling, say you want me, and I say I need it too.
That's on Ben Smith's Extra record label out of New York City. They're called the Heart Spinners. Heart Spinners, August 1957 release. I've Searched is the name of that one. Features a probably 12-year-old Earl Colton on lead. He also co-wrote the song in 1964. Earl Colton, he would become lead of a group called the Bossmen, recorded for the Vim label. Take It Easy is their release on the Boss label. Johnny G here spinning original vinyl 45s. I think I got to everybody. No, I missed Pat there. I got to go back and check. But if I missed any of you in chat, in Top Shelf Oldies chat, which we're having trouble with, or the regular YouTube chat, I apologize. And at least now you can view me. I had a problem setting it up. I'm going to have to test it tomorrow during the snowstorm, I guess. But let's continue here. We count down the music chronologically here on the 50s and early 60s edition. And here's a request for listener Nat Papagallo, listening in Naples, Florida. We head to Newport News, Virginia for this great group. They're called the Five Keys. It's the group's sixth release on Eddie and Leo Mesner's Aladdin label. and it was their follow-up to Red Sails in the Sunset, which I do not have on a 45. I have a nice mint 78. Actually, I have this record on a 78 too. It plays better than my 45. There's like a couple spots on this where there's like some kind of, I don't know, some kind of defect in the wax or something. I don't know if you had this as have an original 45 of this, but you'll hear it. It's annoying for just a little bit, then it clears up. But these are the great 5 keys. It features Rudy West on lead. You'll also hear the voice of Dickie Smith. Dickie Smith, you'll hear him, I think, somewhere in the middle of the record anyway. But by request for Nat, this one from May 1952, the 5 keys on the Aladdin label. The song is called Mistakes. I made a lot today.
Sorry, so sorry that we make mistakes when we worry. All over nothing at all. We make mistakes that bring heartaches, and the teardrops fall like raindrops. We make mistakes and feel sorry when we've made someone blue. But I made the greatest mistake of all when I said goodbye to you. We make mistakes when we worry, all of nothing at all. We make mistakes that bring heartaches and teardrops fall like rain. Make mistakes, feel sorry when we made someone blue. But I made the greatest mistake of all when I said goodbye to you. Goodbye, goodbye to you.
As by request for Nat Papagallo there, the great 5 keys, the 5 keys with Rudy West on lead there, May 1952. Mistakes is the name of the tune on the Aladdin record label. John G making mistakes tonight, but I have a mint 78 of that record, which plays. Oh, it didn't play bad after, initially hearing a little bit of that surface noise there. But the flip side's a cool tune also. It's called How Long. Let's see how long before Johnny G stops coughing. Let's continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Another 45 I played last week was for listener George Tompkins by the Royals, a group out of Detroit, Michigan. They would have 10 releases on Sid Nathan's Federal label before they became the Midnighters, but I played their 3rd release on the Gold Top Federal label. It was called Moonrise. That featured featured Charles Sutton on lead. And listener Daryl Letts asked if I could flip the 45 over before it goes down in the no humidity basement, and I will do that. This side features Henry Booth on lead. So by request for Daryl, we go back to July 1952. The Royals on the Federal label. It's called 5th Street Blues.
Cincinnati, Ohio, well, I went down on 5th Street, met my baby down there. Yes, I went down on 5th Street, met my baby down there. She's fine and mellow, but she just ain't got no eye. Yeah, she's short and she's fat and she's oh so doggone sweet. Yeah, she's short and she's fat and she's oh so doggone sweet. Every time she walks, she wobbles all over the street. Yeah, 5th Street, 6th Street, Central and Park. Hey, 5th Street, hey! Write me, baby, sometimes give me a call. Yes, write me, baby, sometimes give me a call. It's time for me to leave and I may be back next fall. Yes, goodbye, baby, I'll be back someday. Bye, baby, bye. Yes, goodbye, baby, I'll be back someday. Bye, baby, bye. Yes, I'm leaving Cincinnati, I gotta be on my way.
Yeah, those are the Royals there. Royals going out to Daryl Letts. Daryl, do you even know where 5th Street... They mentioned it. It was 5th Street Blues. Where is 5th Street in downtown Detroit? That's July 1952 on Sid Nathan's Gold Top Federal there. Henry Booth on lead for that one. That's a flip of Moonrise, song entitled 5th Street Blues. We continue here. Here's another flip side from last week. I played the Feathers, a group out of Los Angeles, California, their first of two on the Aladdin label. It was called Shake 'Em Up. The flip is a resung version of their first release that came out on the Showtime label, but they re-recorded it for Aladdin Records, very close to their original, slightly different. Features Johnny Staton on lead. We go back to November 1954 now on the Aladdin label. These are the Feathers and their tune called Johnny Darling.
I have a girl who lives up on a hill. She's my one and only. She haunts my every will. I need her, I want her. Yes, she's my one desire, and she'll say, Johnny, darling, don't ever go. At night when we're out walking, the moon is shine so bright, humming on together, that make everything alright. I need her, I want her. Yes, she's my one desire, and she'll say, Johnny, darling, don't ever go. But when I
hold her hand and look into her eyes, I get that funny feeling we almost realize. I need her, I want her, yes, she's my one desire. And she'll say, Johnny, darling, don't ever go. Well, if I had a nickel, I'd put it in a phone. I'd call you Edna, darling, tell you to come on home. I need you, I want you, yes, you're my one desire. And you'll say, Johnny, darling, don't ever go. Believe me, Johnny, darling, don't ever go. I need you, Johnny, darling, don't ever go.
I predict Barbara will be singing that to me tomorrow for Valentine's Day. Yeah, right. We'll see. But anyway, those are the Feathers there. November 1954 on Eddie and Leo Mesner's Aladdin Records. Johnny Darling is the name of that. That's their resung version. It originally came out on the Showtime label, flipped with a song called Nona, but that's Johnny Staten on lead for that one. We continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. We head to the Bronx, New York for this next group. I featured their debut single not too long ago on the Josie label. I think George requested it. A great tune, great two-sided 45. The first release, I think it's the first release. Yeah, on the Josie label. My Plea for Love, back with Music Maestro Please. They were known as the Starlings. Now, after Josie, they signed with Sidney Siegel's Dawn label for 2 releases. Let's give a listen to their second. It's a cool jump. I really like this tune by them. It features Larry Gales on lead. We go to March of 1955 now. We move into 55. They're called the Starlings. The Starlings on the Dawn label. It's called I Gotta Go Now.
I got to go now. Hate to leave, I got to go now. Don't wanna see you crying because I'm going this way. Hey, I got to go now. Don't wanna hurt you, got to go now. Got to desert you, got to go now. But I'll be back someday. Hey, when I come back, I'll bring a sack like Santa brings Christmas toys. If you'll be here, I'll bring good cheer like it does for girls and boys. But I got to go now. Hate to leave, I got to go now. Don't wanna see you crying because I'm going this way. But I'll be back someday. Like Santa brings Christmas toys. If you'll be here, I'll bring good cheer like it does for girls and boys. But I got to go now. Hate to leave, I got to go now. Don't wanna see you crying because I'm going this way. But I'll be back someday.
That's March 1955 release there for the Starlings. The Starlings, Larry Gale's on lead. The Starlings on Sidney Siegel's Dawn record label. That is their second release on Dawn. I Gotta Go Now is the name of the tune. Johnny G not going anywhere, not till at least 1 a.m. Probably overtime with all the requests I got to get to. But after this Dawn release, they signed with MGM Records, and they changed their name to the Twilighters. Two great sides on the MGM label. I have featured them here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. We are in the year 1955 here with a request for listener Daniel Kubacki. He requested this great group out of Pasadena, California. Their debut single came out on the Kicks label in October of 1954. In April 55, I actually recorded as the Blue Jays on the Dig label. They did, I think they're on 3 EPs. I think I have 2 of them, though. I don't have, missing one of them. But they also recorded on the Mambo label. They do a song called Cindy. Then they signed with Larry Mead's Vita label in the fall of 1955. Now, Daniel requested their second of 3. Was written by the lead singer of the group. His name is Chester Pipkin. Going out to Daniel here. We go back to October 1955. These are the Squires. The Squires on the Vita label. It's called Heavenly Angel.
Heaven's up in the blue, but I see heaven when I'm with you. Yes, you're an angel, you're so heavenly to me. Heaven may be far way up in blue, but I see heaven when I'm with you. Guess you're an angel, you seem so heavenly to me. Oh, well, no other one has your ways. No other one has your grace. You're the only one I adore. You're the only one I'm living for. Heaven's up in blue, but I see heaven when I'm with you. Guess you're an angel, you're so heavenly to me. Oh, so heavenly to me.
That's going out to Daniel Kubacki there. That's a cool tune by the Squires there. Second of 3 on the Vita label. Chester Pipkin, he's on lead. He also wrote that tune. Released in October 1955. Song entitled Heavenly Angel. Of course, Chester Pipkin would go on to sing with other groups through the years, like the Valiants and the Untouchables and the Electras and the Happy Tones and the Alley Cats and others. And 2 members of this group, Don Bowman and Dewey Harris, they went on to record as the duo Don and Dewey. So lots of cool things coming out of that group, the Squires. Let's continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. We head back to Newport News, Virginia, with another request for Rick in Philly. I'm sure all of you are familiar with this group's release on the Unart label in 1958 called Heart's Desire. But this is their debut single. Came out on the RCA subsidiary Groove label. Now, this is the jump side. The other side's a nice ballad, but Rick requested the jump side. It features Bernard Purdie on lead. Send this one out to Rick in Philly, February 1956 now, for the Avalons. The Avalons on Groove. It's called Ooh, She Flew.
I met a little cutie walking down the stem, a fine, fine kitten who was tall as him. I told her she was just the one I'm looking for, but when I took her hand to pull her in my car, ooh, she flew, ooh, she flew, ooh, she flew, ooh, 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 she flew, ooh, she flew, ooh, she flew, she flew, she flew, ooh, she flew the coop. I went around the corner, what did I see? An angel right from heaven looking straight at me. I shuffled up beside her saying, howdy do. She didn't say a single word, but ooh, she flew, ooh, she flew, ooh, she flew, ooh, she flew, ooh, 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 she flew, ooh, she flew, ooh, she flew, she flew, she flew, ooh, she flew, she flew the coop. Papa Jew, Papa Jew, baby, now this ain't no jive. If you be a pal of mine, I'll let you drive. She got behind the wheel and never said a word. Stepped down on my gas and left me on the curb. Ooh, she flew, ooh, she flew, ooh, she flew, ooh, 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 she flew, ooh, she flew, ooh, she flew, she flew, she flew, ooh, she flew, she flew the coop. Oochie, oochie, achi, choo, wappa, choo, wap. Yes, she flew. Choo, wappa, choo, wap. Ooh, she flew. Choo, wappa, choo, wap. Yes, she flew. Choo, wappa, choo, wap. I'm telling you, she flew. Choo, wap. Yes, she flew. Choo, wap. Ooh, she flew. Choo, wap. Yes, she flew. Choo, wap. Boy, she was flighty. Good gosh almighty, how she flew. Choo, wap. Choo, wap.
That's for Rick in Philly there. Those are the Avalons. February 1956. Came out on the Groove label. It's one of the RCA subsidiaries, Groove Records. Ooh, She Flew is the name of that one. Featured Bernard Purdie on lead. We continue here now. Last week, I played a request for George Tompkins by Nolan Strong and the Diablos. Played their 8th release on Devorah Brown's Fortune record label. A great tune. It was called Can't We Talk It Over. Now, this week, George requested their 7th. So we're going to send this one out to George Tompkins. Here we go to October 1957 for Nolan Strong and the Diablos. This one on Devorah Brown's Fortune Records out of Detroit, Michigan. The song is called A Teardrop from Heaven.
I knew heaven had spoken. I started to pray, and I felt my love's presence, though she's far away. Just a teardrop from heaven on a sunny day. A teardrop
from heaven has shown me the way. Maybe I sinned and the Lord told me so, with a teardrop from heaven, from an angel. I know I loved her so dearly, I cried when she left. I had no faith in a life after death. What else could it be but a teardrop from eternity? A teardrop from heaven, from an angel weeping for me, weeping for me.
Whoops, that's on the legendary Fortune record label, Devorah Brown's Fortune record label, by request for George Tompkins there. Nolan Strong and the Diablos, A Teardrop from Heaven, October 1956 release. You know, they have about 22 releases between the years 1954 and 1964 if you collect the Fortune label like Johnny G does. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening spinning 1950s and early 60s 45s. If you are new to the YouTube chat, please subscribe to my YouTube chat and click the like, please, and click the bell so you get notifications. We're going to have to go on tomorrow to check this OBS stream here. It gave me problems. I apologize for being 7 minutes late, but we will make it up. Let's continue now. And we go to Lancaster, South Carolina, with a request for Daniel Kubacki. He requested a B-side to the debut single by the Gladiolas on Ernie Young's Excello label. Now, the A-side is the original version of the song Little Darling, of course, was a much, much bigger hit for the Canadian group The Diamonds on the Mercury label. But this was the B-side. This B-side here, written by the lead singer. His name is Maurice Williams. This one from December 1956, going out to Daniel. These are the Gladiolas on Excello, the B-side to Little Darling. It's called Sweetheart, Please Don't Go. B-sides here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. That one there, request by Daniel Kubacki. The Gladiolas, Maurice Williams on lead, December 1956. That's the first record they did on the Excello label. Sweetheart, Please Don't Go is the name of that one. That their first of 4 on Excello out of Nashville, Tennessee, the label that is. Now, the Gladiolas would later record as Maurice Williams and the Zodiacs. Of course, they had that monster hit on Herald in 1960. Song entitled Stay, probably the shortest #1 record ever. And I know Katie was asking me about Maurice Williams and the Zodiacs and what the label was, the original label. It's Herald Records, and there was an LP. It was pretty cheap. It listed for $20. I think that's a good buy, $20 if you can get that Herald LP by the Maurice Williams and the Zodiacs. But I have to admit, I prefer the Diamonds version of Little Darling better than the Gladiolas. Actually, I like that B-side better too. That's just my opinion. Let's continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. And up next, a request for Joe Shacatano, as this group is out of Nashville, Tennessee. They recorded 2 on Sid Nathan's King label. Now, 4 of the group members at this time were still going to high school, but the lead singer, he graduated a year earlier. His name is Joe Perkins, and he wrote this tune. This is their second of 2 they recorded on the King label, of course, written by the lead singer, Joe Perkins. This is going out to Joe Shacatano. We're also going to send this one out to George Tompkins because I know he likes this song too. This one from March 1957 now. Joe Perkins and the Rookies on the King label. It's called A New Feeling.
It feels like springtime in November, autumn in June. You hear in my heart, life's a lovely tune, and though the tears may smear my cheek, you change the salt within my tears too sweet. It's like bread to a beggar, joy to the hurt, sight to the blind man. It's heaven on earth. I've never had this feeling before. Is it love? Should I really know? This new feeling that I have is strange, oh so strange. Love you, love you, love you so. I know it now, you're in my dream, and I'll never let it change. Oh, now that I found you, the one thing I know, you're my life's only treasure. I can't let you go, and I pray till the end of time that you'll always be mine. You'll always be mine.
As by request for Joe Shacatano there, that's Joe Perkins and the Rookies. March 1957, that's on Sid Nathan's King record label. A New Feeling is the name of that one. We'll send that one out to George Tompkins also. He likes that 45. I need to get it on the stock copy. The promos have some type of defect in the beginning if you heard that surface noise. I mean, this is a Stone Mint record. Actually, I bought both copies. I think, Joe, you requested their other one a couple weeks ago. I think George likes that other one also, which I have played here on the show. But I bought both copies of this record. $300 I paid for the 2 copies of this, and they were stone mint. They were bio promos on that. Not easy to find, really is not. Johnny G here on a Saturday evening. We continue here. Here's a request for Katie of Vintage and Vinyl. She is into record collecting now, learning about the hobby, and she's trying to pick up as much as she can from her host, Johnny G. And Katie, with this record, just if you're looking for an original copy, make sure it has 45 RPM on both sides of the record. I'll show it to you if you're looking for an original of this. But Katie has her own YouTube page called Vintage and Vinyl. She's into a lot of cool vintage antiques and records, so you got to check out her page, Vintage and Vinyl. But this song was first recorded by the Packards on the Paradise record label. I have the 45 of this. I'm jealous of Braden McCallow because he has a 78, which plays a lot better on that Paradise release. But they did it in August of 1956. Then it was covered in January of 57 on George Gollner's G label by a group called the Echoes. And Charlene found out, I didn't know this, that the lead singer on this is Vinny Catalano. He is doing lead here with this group called the Echoes. So this is by request for Katie, January 57, the Echoes on the G label, their cover of the Packards tune. It's called Ding Dong.
Ding dong.
Ding dong, 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 ding dong. The bells are ringing, ding dong, the angels singing, ding dong. The bells are ringing for you and I. Ding dong, the bells are pealing, ding dong, the hearts revealing, ding dong. The bells are ringing for you and I met you on a Sunday about a month ago. You told me that you love me and you never, 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 never let me go. Ding dong, the bells are ringing. Ding dong, the angels singing. Ding dong, the bells are ringing for you and Ding dong, the bells are ringing. Ding dong, the angels singing. Ding dong, the bells are ringing for you and I. Ding dong, the bells are pealing. Ding dong, our hearts revealing. Ding dong, the bells are ringing for you and I met you on a Sunday about a month ago. You told me that you love me and you never, 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 never let me go. Ding dong, the bells are ringing. Ding dong, the angels singing. Ding dong, the bells are ringing for you and I. Ringing for you and
As by request for Katie of Vintage and Vinyl, the Echoes there. Echoes from January 1957 on George Gollner's G record label. Ding Dong, their cover of the Packards tune, came out on the Paradise record label, but the lead singer there, Vinny Catalano. Vinny would go on to record under different aliases, and he was also probably best known group record he did with all the voices, by the way. He was the Acorns on the Unart label in 1958. That was Vinny Catalano doing all those voices. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening as we continue here. We are in the year 1958. We go from George Gollner's G record label to George Gollner's N label with a request for Evan Blatt, as this group is out of Philadelphia, PA, and it's their first of 2 on the End record label. This is co-written by the lead singer. His name is Ronnie Jones. By request for Evan Blatt, we go to August 1957. Give a listen to Ronnie Jones and the Classmates. This is on the Black End label. If you have the multicolor, that is a reissue, but the song is called Little Girl Next Door. Kitty Leeds here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. That's by request for Evan, Ronnie Jones, and the Classmates. Their August 1957 release on the End label, George Goldner's End Records. Early end number 1002 for that has to be on the Black label. Little Girl Next Door is the name of the tune. We are in the year 1957, and I played a request for Katie not too long ago, a couple records ago, by a group called the Echoes out of New York. Here is another Echoes group out of Los Angeles, California. This is on Art Roop's specialty label, and a request for George Tompkins. It features Mazette Freeman on lead. We go back to March 1957. These are the other Echoes group out on the West Coast there. Two gals and two guys. It's on the specialty label. The song is entitled Someone.
I'm in love with someone new. Can that someone be you? Someone that's true, someone that loves me like you. Someday true.
heart gives me this warning. Your love will burn for me only until eternity. I'm in love with someone new. Can that someone be you? Someone that's true, someone that loves me like you. That loves me like
As by request for George Tompkins there, the Echoes, another Echoes group out of Los Angeles, California. There are others, believe it or not, but that group there on Art Roop Specialty record label, song entitled Someone, and the gal lead there is Mazette Freeman. She is one of the gals. The other gals there, the other gal is Darlene Love. I think she was, her real name was Edna Wright. I think it was Edna, if I'm not mistaken. I know her last name was Wright, but that one there from March of 1957, the Echoes, called Someone, and Darlene Love was a member. She was singing on that track, believe it or not. And this group also backed up Little Clyde, a.k.a. Little Clyde King on the RPM record label. And they also backed up Sonny Roberts and the Echoes on the Impala label. That's another great tune that they do. And the group would, with some personnel changes, record as the Poets. Darlene Love left the group by that time, but they also recorded as the Poets on the Shade label. That will be coming up later. That is a request for my number one California listener. You can guess who that is. Let's continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show, and we continue with the requests out of the year 1957. This one is for Facebook listener Derek Bristol. And he requested this duet, best known for their biggest hit. You know their biggest hit came out on the Groove label. It was called Love is Strange. Groove Records, a subsidiary of RCA Records. But then RCA moved them over to the sister label Vic Records that was previously known as what? The X record label. Yes, this is the second of 7 on Vic for Mickey and Sylvia. They're Mickey Baker and Sylvia Vanderpool. This one going out to Derek, March 1957. This was number 85 on Billboard, a number 39 on Cashbox, a big number 9 record on WKBW if you were listening in Buffalo, New York. Going out to Derek, Mickey and Sylvia on Vic. It's called Dearest.
Dearest, though you're the nearest to my heart, please don't ever say we'll part. You scold, and you were so bold. Yes, together, yeah, our love will grow old. Yeah, our love will grow old. You may be a million miles away. Please believe me, yeah, when you hear me say I love you, I love you. Come home, keep me from these sleepless nights. Try
right. Yeah, I'm gonna treat you right. Now tell them what I said, Mickey. Tell them one more time, Mickey.
As by request for Derek Bristol there, Mickey and Sylvia. Mickey and Sylvia, March 1957, released song entitled Dearest on the Vic label. You know, that record was co-written by Bo Diddley under his real name, E. McDaniel. It's co-written by Bo Diddley on that record. That's a cool tune. Love the guitar work. My aunt loved that record too. She preferred guitar over saxophone. I prefer saxophone, but she liked guitar. She did. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening. We continue here. Lots of requests tonight. We go back to Philadelphia, PA with a request for Katie of Vintage and Vinyl. She's getting into the obscurities now. She requested this group called the Universals. Now, the members of this group came from two different groups. One was the Quadrells, recorded for Whirling Disc Records. The other was the Dreamers, that recorded for the Grand and the Roland label. Actually, the lead singer of this Universals group was the lead of the Dreamers. His name is Kent Peeler. So by request for Katie, we go to George Gollner's Mark X record label. I know Nat Papagallo likes this song too, and a bunch of other people like this record. It's a great tune, rendition by this group, the Universals. September 57, Mark X Records, the Universals version of the tune Again.
This is the
Whoops. As by request for Katie of Vintage and Vinyl. You know, I have 2 copies of this record, of that Universal's record. I even have a copy of the, if you want to call it the bootleg or whatever, the one that came out on the Mark label. That's what I found at the Yonkers Raceway Flea Market for a dime. But I had to buy 2 copies because these records, for some reason, I can't find a clean copy. They're like grainy presses for some reason. I don't know, maybe I'm just unlucky with getting the end of the batch or the beginning of the batch of when they start pressing. Or it could be recycled vinyl too. But not all of the Mark X records play grainy like that, but unfortunately it does on that copy. My other one's just slightly better. I was kind of upset. But anyway, that's a cool tune there. The Universals there, by request for Katie with Kent Peeler on lead. High falsetto voice of Kent Peeler, September 57 release on George Gollner's Mark X label. Again is the name of the tune. We continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Shows. We move into 1958 with a group from Washington, D.C., and it's their only release. Came out on Ben Smith's Extra label. Not an easy label to collect. What's the easiest record to find on the Extra label? Probably Patricia by the Young Tones. That, I think, might be the easiest record to find. Or maybe, I don't know, is the Can I Come Over, is that an easy record to find? I don't know, maybe that's not easy to find either. But anyway, this song written by the lead singer, his name is Alfred Robinson. This is a 45 I bought at the Allentown All 45 78 show maybe about 20 years ago when I first attended, or the first time I attended the show. Bought it from Ken Benedict. He was from, I think he drove up from Florida. He had a bunch of records, and I bought this one and another expensive 45 from him. But anyway, this one by the Four Bel Airs, the spring of 1958 release on the Extra label. It's called Tell Me Why.
Tell me why this talk about. Tell me why this talk about. Did you know why you are love? Tell me why this story life. Tell me why God give us life. Did you know why do I love? What make my heart sing, flutter and fly? What make me love you till the day I die? What make the heavens and the ocean blue? Tell me why I love you. Tell me why this story about. Tell me why this story does and dirty. That's why you are love. Tell me why this stuff about. Tell me why God gave us love and charity. That's why you are love. You are love.
That's 1958 there on Ben Smith's Extra Records, the Four Bel Airs, BEL apostrophe AIRES, a song entitled Tell Me Why. That one there with Alfred Robinson. He wrote the song. He's also the lead singer. The flip side's a nice cover of Where Are You? Different arrangement than the Mellow Moods for sure, but worth playing next week, so stay tuned for that. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening. We continue here, and up next is a request for Rick in Philly, as this group is out of Newark, New Jersey, and the founder and lead singer of this group goes by the name of George Kerr, and he would also become a legendary producer, songwriter, and arranger over 6 decades, still today, still producing records, by the way, and singing. And as a teen, he was the founder of this group called the Serenaders, and their first record originally came out on the Chock full of Hits label, but it was then picked up by MGM Records. An interesting thing that I just noticed today on the record, because I'm going to show you the Chock full of Hits, which is a little grainy on the play, but it's not bad. But I just said Rick requested the MGM release, but originally came out on Chock full of Hits. And my copy is, I bought my copy from Joe Pascuzzo, and it's like a lighter chock full of hits. If you look at the 45 Cat listing, it's a much darker, and look at the writer credit. It's very different. The writer credit is different, because on the Chock full of Hits of this song, the song is called Never Let Me Go. On the I guess the first press, or the kind of the wider label, it lists Kerr and another guy's name. I forget his name. I wrote it down here. Kerr and Waiters. But then on the darker press, it lists Joe Scott. Now, Joe Scott wrote that song for Johnny Ace. He was a songwriter, wrote a lot of songs for Johnny Ace. And I don't know if they must have either Johnny Ace or well, he wasn't alive at the time, but they must have noticed that. They said, hey, wait, that's our song. But I don't know if it is there. It sounds like their song. Charlene put on the notes that it was similar or was inspired, but evidently they must have thought that it was the Johnny Ace record. But either way, let's give it a spin here. This is by request for Rick in Philly, February 1958 release with George Kerr on lead. These are the Serenaders. I'm featuring the MGM release. It's called Never Let Me Go.
Just let me love tonight. Forget about tomorrow. Remember, darling, I love you. Never let me go. Oh, no, 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 never let you go.
As by request for Rick and Philly there, the Serenaders. George Kerr on lead, February 1958, release on the MGM record label Never Let Me Go. Came out came out December of 57 on the Chockful of Hits label. And then MGM Records picked it up. MGM Records released their second, also by the Serenaders. As we continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show, up next, a request for my number one California listener. Her name is Mady Campboy. Thank you, Mady, for your requests and being a fantastic listener to the Vinyl Treasure Show. And this is actually a 45 that my late Aunt Mary purchased in the summer of 1958 because she used to play this for me as I was only 1 year old in 1958. Actually, June. I wasn't even born yet. It wasn't until September. But she would play the record for me. I have her destroyed copy of it, but this is a nice copy here. This singer is from Locust Valley, Long Island. His real name was Robert Castro, but he recorded as Bobby Hamilton, and this was his debut single, which was his biggest hit, by the way. This was on the Apt label, a subsidiary of ABC Paramount Records, number 40 on Billboard. This was a number one record, by the way, on WBNY in Buffalo, New York, though. So this is going out to my number one California listener, Mady Campboy, June 58, for Bobby Hamilton on Apt Records. It's called Crazy Eyes for You.
I've got crazy eyes for you, baby. I've got crazy eyes for you. Oh yes, my darling.
As by request for Mady Campboy there, Bobby Hamilton, June 1958, release on the Apt label, Crazy Eyes for You. She used to dance with Johnny G to that song. I didn't know how to dance at all. She told me her partner was there was a sun porch and there were these like two closing doors. So she had a 1955 RCA Victrola. No, it was a console, the TV on one side, and on the other side there was a drawer that would open up, and there was a turntable in there with like a velvet turntable. And she didn't have all her records had those metal inserts from Chicago. I don't know how. listen, I couldn't take them out. She knew how to do it, how to press one side in and the other side in. They are dangerous to 45s, and that's how she had her records. She only had like 7 of them, and she would stack 7 records up, and they would drop down on that automatic turntable, and she would dance with the porch door, she said, as her practice partner. But she had a lot of partners in high school that she would dance with. Anyway, Johnny G babbling on here. Let's continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. We stay in 1958 with a request for Evan Blatt. This group is from the South Bronx. Their first release came out on Julius Dixon's Timely label earlier in the year of 1958, which is a rare record, by the way. They followed it up with this release on the Brunswick label that Julius Dixon wrote. They're called the J-Tones. By request for Evan, these are the J-Tones, August 58. It's on the Brunswick label, song entitled The Clock.
There goes my baby in her rendezvous, taking the corner with somebody new. There goes my baby in her same old There goes my baby in a rendezvous, taking the corner with somebody new. There goes my baby in the time of rendezvous. Oh, the clock on the wall ticks away the time leaving me in memories of you. Oh, 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 come back, my darling. Oh, please come back. Please come back real soon. There goes my baby in her rendezvous, taking the corner with somebody new. There goes my baby in the time
As by request for Evan Blatt there, those are the J-Tones. That's their second release, came out on the Brunswick record label, August 1958 release. It's called The Clock. The Clock. As the clock says 11:29, Johnny G going to be here till I get through all the requests. We continue here. We go back out to Los Angeles, California. This is a request for Daniel Kubacki. This group's debut 45 came out on the Flip label. Their first release was their biggest hit. I think actually was the biggest hit on the Flip label, a song entitled A Casual Look. In all, they had 11 releases on the Flip label. Daniel requested their 8th. I think this is their hardest and their most in-demand single. It features Trudy Williams on lead. We go back to August 1958 for the 16's. Trudy Williams and the 16's on the Flip label with a song entitled Oh, It's Crazy.
Woke up this morning, felt like I didn't sleep. I woke up this morning, felt like I couldn't eat. But the more I see of you, the more I love you, dear. I heard your song this morning, felt like you were here. I heard your song this morning. Want to kiss you, dear, for the more I see of you, the more I love you, dear. Well, it's a crazy feeling to be in love, but just think we're so young, we've got a lifetime to love. Oh, it's crazy. Oh, it's crazy. Oh, it's crazy. Oh, it's crazy. For the more I see of you, the more I love you, dear. Love you. I love you, dear. Love you. I love you, dear. Love you. I love you, dear.
As by request for Daniel Kubacki there, Trudy Williams and the 16's. That's their 8th release. Hardest release, I think, to find there on the Flip label. Oh, It's Crazy came out in August of 1958. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening. My voice is still holding up. We will continue here. We are in the year 1958. We head to Chicago, Illinois with a request for Rick and Philly by the great El Dorados. Now, their biggest hit, their biggest hit was their 3rd release on the VJ label. It was called At My Front Door. But after 8 releases, turmoil happened with the group. I don't know what it was, a disagreement between Perko Lee Moses, the lead singer, and the other members. The group disbanded, but VJ Records, they said, well, we want to continue with the El Dorados. They're very well known. So listen, Perko Lee, we're going to match you up with another group. We're going to put another group behind you. And what they did is they matched Perko Lee Moses up with the Cool Gents, another group that was recording for VJ Records at the time, to form a second El Dorados group. And VJ released a 9th single under the El Dorados name, of course, Perko Lee Moses on lead. So that's him, and he's being backed up by the Cool Gents. And this is a request for Rick. This is the up-tempo side. Usually the collectors play the flip side of this, 3 Reasons Why, a nice ballad. But Rick requested the jump side, January 58, the El Dorados on VJ. It's called Boom Diddy Boom.
Along, just singing a song, just as happy as I could be. I saw a cute little girl with a pretty curl who went to ride me. You're fine, you're mine all the time. She was the cutest thing, was a queen of swing, and was her that I adored. Well, she made my heart go boom diddy boom, I never did before. She's fine, she's mine all the time. My heart I went boom diddy boom diddy, boom diddy boom diddy, boom diddy boom diddy, boom diddy boom. Now everything is lovey dovey. When you hold my hand, lovey dovey, lovey dovey. That's the way to love. She took my heart and my loving too. She took it all, studied through and through, put it in a little wishing bowl, then gave a kiss to satisfy my soul. I took her walking on a summer night. I thought I might get to hold her tight. She said, no, not this time. You better wait until another night. But she's mine all the time. Now everything is lovey when you hold my hand. Lovey dovey, you understand. Lovey dovey.
Wow, call the lawyers on that one. Bill Just is going to hear that record. He's going to send them a cease and desist. Sounds like raunchy there on the guitar. Who is this? Al Smith? Who's the band leader here? Yeah, Al Smith's orchestra there. Wow, that's by request for Rick and Philly, the Eldorados there. Perker Lee Moses on lead there, January 1958. The Eldorados, really the cool gents backing Perker Lee up there. And, Dee Clark, a member of the Cool Gents before he went solo. And that one there on the VJ record label. We continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show, and we continue with the requests. And here's one for George Tompkins. As last week, though, Rick and Philly requested a group called the Excels on the Gone label from August of 1960, a nice version of My Foolish Heart. They were this group from Brooklyn, New York. They were discovered by bandleader Al Brown, and this was their debut single that came out on Malcolm Newkirk's Central label. This is written by the lead singer of the group. His name is... No, what is this right? It's not Freddie Brown. It's Freddie Orange. I wrote Freddie Brown, but the lead singer of this group is called Freddie Orange. If you look at the writer credit, you'll see it's got Al Brown. He's the band leader, and Orange. That's Freddie Orange. He's the lead. This is by request for George Tompkins, the Excels from June 1958 on the Central label. It's called You're Mine Forever.
I'll try to forget the day that we met, and try not to mind your words so unkind, but my heart cannot lie. There'll be no goodbyes, I'm yours, and you're mine forever. I try to act sane when the guys call your name, and answer the night while holding you so tight. I know that you're untrue. What can I do? I'm yours, and you're mine forever. Someone once said that true love is blind. No, no true words were spoken, though you're breaking my heart, ain't mine. I stay till it's really broken. So, darling, I'm telling you, do what you want to do. Play and be sure it's play. Laugh and be very gay. Go where you want to go, but let everybody know I'm yours. Yes, I'm yours. And you're mine. And you're mine. Do
As by request for George Tompkins there, Killer Ballad by the Excels. Freddie Orange, he's on lead there. June 58, You're Mine Forever. Came out on the Central label. That's the intended A-side. Flip side's a nice up-tempo. Talking about it, in the chat room, Baby Doll. So going to get that one on next week. And let's continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. And last week I played a request for listener Nat Papagallo. He requested the Lounge Loungers on Al Silver's Herald record label, and the song was called Remember the Night. That was a song I first heard George Tompkins play on his show. Actually, both sides of this record bring back memories of listening to George Tompkins play a lot of these records for me when I was a teenager trying to learn about the music. But it was Daryl Letts that wanted me to flip over this 45. The song is written, both sides of this song written by Dave Concepcion, who was also the lead singer of this group. They're called the Loungers. By request for Daryl Letts, November 1958, the Loungers on Herald. It's called Dizzy Spell.
I get a feeling when you whisper in my ear, when you call me my dear, I get a dizzy spell. Get a dizzy spell. Get a feeling when I leave the world behind. What I leave is all mine. I get a dizzy spell. I can understand what you have done to me. Oh, this feeling I have for you. Oh, and my misery, I really do.
I wonder if you're going away.
I like the way you say that you will remain. Oh, it's a feeling no one can explain. I get a dizzy spell. Oh, it's a feeling. I get a dizzy.
As by request for Daryl Letts, there, the Loungers. Loungers, November 1958, also recorded as the Five Secrets on the Decca label. Dizzy Spell is the name of the tune. Dave Concepcion on lead. Fred is saying what about, let me see. It says, I'm looking, no, Fred, you see, Baby Doll is the B-side. See there? You see it? 2601B. The other side is called 2601A. Those are the excels. Johnny G here, showing my 45s off. We do it every Saturday from 10 to 1 a.m. If I say midnight, that's because it's embedded in my head. I can go for as long as I want, believe it or not. But let's continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. We got another request for listener Joe Shacatano. As this singer, he's out of Baltimore, Maryland. He was the lead singer of the Honey Boys that recorded on the Modern record label. His real name was Calvin Khaki Roulette, but on this deluxe 45, he's using an alias of Johnny Darling, and there is an uncredited vocal group backing him up on this record, and I think it's the Hurricanes that are backing him up. They also recorded for Sid Nathan's sister label, King Records. So by request for Joe, we're also going to send this one out to listener George Tompkins, because I know he loves this song also. July 1958, Johnny Darling, a.k.a. Calvin Khaki Roulette, is the singer. This is on Sid Nathan's deluxe record label. It's called I Don't Want to wind up in love. I do, though.
Won't you please take your arms from around me? Won't you please take your lips away? Darn that moon, darn that tune, sung by angels above. I just don't want to wind up in love. Won't you let me get myself together? 'Cause your kiss has me so afraid. And the gleam in your eyes tells me what you're thinking of. And I don't want to wind up in love. 'Cause I've seen lovers come and go, and they always wind up the same. Broken hearted, that's why I want no part of the game. Stay away, I'm afraid of your magic. It does nothing but give me a shove. Pity me, can't you see my poor heart's in misery? 'Cause I don't want to wind up in love. I don't want to wind up in love.
Johnny G getting caught here, putting the 45s on. That is a cool tune there. That is Johnny Darling, a.k.a. Calvin Khaki Roulette. He is with the Hurricanes backing him up. Our request for Joe Shacatano, July 1958 release on the deluxe record banner. I Don't Want to Wind Up in Love is the name of the tune. We'll send that one out to George Tompkins also. I know he likes that tune. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening. We continue. And on last week's Vinyl Treasure Show, I played a request for my number one California listener, that being Matey Campboy. She requested the Chanels, a group out of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Matey requested the side called The Reason. Came out on Julius Dixon's Deb label. It was listener Andrew Turner requested that I flip over the 45, give a listen to the flip side. So we're going to send this one out to Andrew Turner in our YouTube chat. These are the Chanels from September 1958 on the Deb label. It's called Skiddly Doo.
Well,
By request for Andrew Turner there. Those are the Chanels, later on to become the Five Chanels, because I think the George Gollner was upset. I think it was George Gollner. What did you say last week, Reed? You said he thought it was another group that complained about the name. It's pronounced Chanels, but people may look at it and say those are the Channels. Those are Earl Lewis and the Channels, but no, it is not. September 1958. That's the flip of the reason, called Skiddly Doo on the Deb label. The Chanels is the name of the group. As we continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show, up next, a rare 45, ultra rare 45 by request for Nat Papagallo. This is on the Mark label, Mark Records, out of Utica, New York, and my copy is autographed, if you look real close, by the writer of the song, and I have no info of the group, but it's there are some rare releases on this label. I think the Supremes, which I have, and the what's the other group? The Something Charmers. I think the Charmers, I think, or I forget. Johnny G losing his mind. But this is another hard record on the label, the Teenage Moonlighters, and this is the intended A-side by request for Nat, October 1958. They're called the Teenage Moonlighters on the Mark label. The song is called Sorry, Sorry.
I'm sorry.
Wait, I don't like that.
I'm sorry. Sorry. So sorry. Sorry. Just because there's someone new. He'll hold you. Hold you. Hold you. Hold you. I can see your silver kisses. I only knew the first time I held you. I was in my paradise. I'm lonely, 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 lonely to live this feeling la la. I know where you are, when you talk, darling, if you only knew how my heart yearns for you. I'm sorry, so sorry, and it's just a memory. All this scheming, dreaming, but I'll always be so sorry, dear. I know where you are and the way you talk. Darling, if you only knew how my heart yearns for you. I'm sorry, so sorry, that it's just a memory. All this scheming, dreaming, but I'll always be so
As by request for Nat Papagallo there, that's a ultra rare 45 by the Teenage Moonlighters. October 1958, it's called Sorry, Sorry. It's on Mark Records out of Utica, New York. I have the Supremes. I don't have the the Charm, yeah, it was, who typed it? Charm Kings. That's the one I do not have. Anyway, Johnny G here, spinning my original vinyl 45s. We do it every Saturday from 10 to 1 a.m. We are moving into the year 1959 now, with a flip from last week, as Matey Campboy requested the Carlos Brothers, their first of 3 on Bob Keane's Delphi record label. The song was called Tonight. Now, the Carlos Brothers, they were Jimmy Carlos and Pete Antoniano. And listener Daryl Letts requested the flip side, which is a cool jump. I think it's a pretty cool tune. So for Daryl, this one from February 59, the Carlos Brothers on Delphi with a song entitled Come On, Let's Dance.
Oh, oh, doobie-doobie wop wop, oh, oh, doobie-doobie wop wop, oh, oh, doobie-doobie wop wop, oh. Come on, baby, let's do the stroll, oh. Come on, baby, let's rock and roll, oh. Come on, baby, let's dance. Bum, bum, bum. Come on, baby, don't have to slow, oh. Come on, baby, it's time to go, oh. Come on, baby, let's dance. First we turn around and we drop to our knees, then we rock and roll and do the beat. Then we turn around and do the stroll. Come on, baby, let's go, 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 go. Come on, baby, let's do the slow, oh. Come on, baby, let's rock and roll, oh. Come on, baby, let's dance. Bow, 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 oh, oh. Doobie, wop, wop, oh, oh. Doobie, wop, wop, oh, oh. Doobie, wop, wop, oh, 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 Doobie, wop, wop, oh, oh. Doobie, wop, wop, oh, oh. Wop, wop, oh. First we turn around and we drop to our knees, and we rock and roll and do the beat. Then we turn around and do the stroll. Come on, baby, let's go, 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 go. Come on, baby, let's do the stroll. Come on, baby, let's rock and roll. Come on, baby, let's dance. Bum, 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 oh, oh. Doobie, doobie, wop, wop, oh, oh. Doobie-doobie wop wop, oh, oh. Doobie-doobie wop wop, oh, oh, bum bum, oh, oh. Doobie-doobie wop wop, oh, oh. Doobie-doobie wop wop, oh, oh. Doobie-doobie wop wop, oh.
As for Daryl Letts, they'll also send it out to Katie of Vintage and Vinyl, the Carlos Brothers, their February 59 release, Come On, Let's Dance, on the Delphi record label, Bob Keane's Delphi. Although it was released in February 59, if you listen closely to the guitar in there, sounds like Richie Valens is playing guitar. Now, what's good about Delphi records for you collectors out there, if you look at the matrix numbers on the Delphi releases, they list the month and the year of release. This one was actually recorded, not released, recorded. This record was recorded December of 1958. That was before that tragic plane crash with Richie Valens, so he could have been playing guitar on there. It did sound like a Richie Valens guitar, as he did play guitar on some of the acts that recorded for Bob Keane's Delphi records, and I'm sure that he would have played guitar on this Carlos Brothers or other releases around that time, because he was pretty popular at the time, around late 1958. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening. We continue here, and here's a request for Evan Blatt, as this group is from Stamford, Connecticut. They're known as the Cineramas. They have 2 overall 45s, one on the Champ label. That's their first. Their other came out on the Rhapsody label. Evan requested their first on Champ. It features Joe Bennett on lead. This one from March of 59. Give a listen to the Cineramas. It's on the Champ label. It's called Life Can Be Beautiful.
Life can be beautiful, and that's what you are. Life can be beautiful, you can tell by the stars. Life is worth living for as long as I have you. No other love will ever do. Life can be beautiful, and that's what you are. Life can be beautiful, my dear. Life is worth living for as long as I have you. Life can be beautiful, my dear. Oh, life can be beautiful, and that's what you are. Life can be beautiful, you can tell by the stars. Life is worth living for as long as I have you. Life can be beautiful.
That's by request for Evan Blatt. They're liking that record there in the YouTube chat room. They're called the Cineramas. The Cineramas there, March 1959 on the Champ label. Life Can Be Beautiful. The lead singer on that record is, as I lose my place, Joe Bennett. Not Joe Bennett of the Sparkle Tones. That is a different Joe Bennett. This Joe Bennett is out of Stamford, Connecticut. Now, there are other songs, a good tune also. I had it pulled here. I've played it not too long ago, Crying for You on the Rhapsody label. That features Frankie Palmer on lead. Johnny G here spinning original vinyl 45s. We do it every Saturday from 10 to 1 a.m. here on Top Shelf Oldies. Also live on YouTube. If you are new to the show, please subscribe to my YouTube channel to get notifications when I go live, because I sometimes go live in the middle of the day. Well, I can't do it when I'm working, but I'm off Monday. I'm off Monday for President's Day, so maybe I'll play records. Who knows? So you got to subscribe to the channel. Also click the bell and like the video tonight. Appreciate it if you can click like on the video. Let's continue here. We just heard the Cineramas. Here is last week I played a request for listener Daniel Kubacki. He requested the Earthquakes on Devorah Brown's Fortune label out of Detroit, Michigan. Daniel requested the intended B-side of their 45 called Darling Be Mine, a wonderful ballad. And listener Darrell Letts in our YouTube chat, he wants to hear the A-side here, and it features Armin Abney on lead. So this one from November 1959, it's going out to Darrell and listener Braden McCallow. He's looking to buy this 45. He probably doesn't want it on the original label. He'll take the reissue on the blue label. So there you go, Braden, giving you a plug. You're looking for that record. Kenny Fuchs already sold that copy for $20, unfortunately. But anyway, let's give it a spin here. November 1959. These are the Earthquakes on the Fortune label, and this is what Barbara used to call me. The song is called Bashful Guy.
Boom, 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 boom.
Bashful guy, can't say the thing that I feel down inside. Oh, say oh, whenever you pass by, I'm just a bashful guy.
Boom, 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 boom.
Bashful guy, you know I've known you for a long, long
You hear that talking at the end of that cold ending there. Interesting. It is like, listen to how this record ends again, because you'll hear some chatter. Listen at the end.
Tell her you love her with all of your might. Don't be a bashful guy.
You hear that? Somebody's voice on there. Boy, they messed that one up, didn't they? I wonder if that's on a 78, Braden, if you're going to hear that at the end of the 78. But anyway, those are the those are the Earthquakes. The Earthquakes there with Armin Abney on lead, November 1959 on the Fortune label. It's probably not on the 78, not from 59. Bashful Guy is the name of that. Now, Armin Abney also recorded as Orlando King, and I have another one of his records on Fortune. It's a yellow label. I forget what it sounds like, but anyway, for you collectors out there, the true first press of this should be on the orange label. And this was a family affair, this group, the Earthquakes. Their father was their manager. He was also the bass, and then there were the two other brothers and the lead singer there. Those are the Earthquakes. Johnny G here, hopefully not causing an earthquake, but I hope you're digging on the cool tunes this evening. We continue here with a request. We're still in the year 1959. A request for listener Joe Shacatano, as this song has a West Coast flavor, because when you see George Mottola on the label, this is a Philly label, by the way, but George Mottola and his wife Ricky Page wrote and produced this song. And a few months ago, Joe, wasn't it maybe 2 or 3 months ago, you requested the A-side of this. It was called You Must Try, and I think I played it, my promo copy, and they were called the Swallows, but then they had to change their name to the Guides. So then what I normally do with records that have great flip sides is the following week I play the flip side. So I did play the flip side of that Swallows record, but here you are, I think a few months later, but it's worth another play. That is for sure, especially under the Guides 45, because I didn't officially play this 45. We're going to listen to it right now here. August 1959 release for the Guides, going out to Joe Shacatano. This is on the Guiden label, and it features Carlton Beck on lead. Carlton Beck, I love Carlton Beck's voice. But anyway, going out to Joe, the Guides on Guiden. It's called How Long Must a Fool Go On?
Do you remember? Do you remember? You've forgotten me, the happiness we shared. Yes, it's plain to see you never really cared. I'm just a fool. How long must a fool go on? Once I used to be your only pride and joy. Now you're tired of me, just like a broken toy. I'm just a fool. How long must a fool go on? I remember on the day we met, you told me you'd always be true. But the vows you made, they were only lies. Now I'm alone with the heart that cries. I still love you more each time I hear your name, even though I know that it will be in vain. I'm just a fool. How long must a fool go on? How long must a fool go on?
That's such a great tune there. By request for Joe Shacatano, the Guides, a.k.a. the Swallows. That record on the promo says the Swallows, but legal ramifications from, I think, the Swallows that were recording for Federal at the time had to change their name to the Guides. Carlton Beck, the great voice of Carlton Beck there, August 1959. How Long Must a Fool Go On? That one there, Guidon Records out of Philadelphia. Big connection on Guidon and on the West Coast and the East Coast. Lee Hazelwood there and George Mottola, the connection between the two. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening. Hope you're digging on the cool tunes here. Please subscribe to my video. Tell your friends about the Vinyl Treasure Show. I only play original vinyl if I have the record. Lots of requests have been coming in. I'm just thankful that I have most of them. I don't have some of them, like a $3,500 record that somebody requested, but it's on my want list. I can tell you that much. Let's continue here. Here's a request from my number one California listener, Matey Campboy. She requested this duo. They are Robert and Jimmy, and I have no info on this duo except it's on a label called K, the letter K. And it's a label out of New York City, and the song is co-written by Ray Rainwater. Now, he is the brother of singer Marvin Rainwater. That is his brother. But this is a request going out to Matey Campboy, May 1959. Give a listen to Robert and Jimmy on the K label. It's called I Just Can't Help Myself.
No matter what you do, no matter what you say, it won't change a thing. I'll always feel this way. I love you so, I just can't help myself. No matter if you stray and go far, far away, I'll always feel the same. My love will still remain. I love you so, I just can't help myself. You are what I'm living for. Nothing else, nothing more. Without you, there's no tomorrow. This love of mine is not just to borrow. No matter what you do, no matter what you say, it won't change a thing. I'll always feel this way. I love you so, I just can't help myself. I love you so, I just can't help myself.
As by request for my number one listener, Matey Campboy, thanks for requesting that. And I got to be thankful that I got the record. I forget where I bought that from. I think I bought it from Joel Scherzer a long, long time ago, maybe about 30 years or so ago. I was buying everything back then, and they weren't that expensive. They weren't at the time, but that's Robert and Jimmy, May 1959 release. It's on the K label out of New York City. Actually, it also has a date on the label, but it's 1959, but Charlene found out May of 59. I Just Can't Help Myself. Johnny G can't help himself every Saturday from 10 to 1 a.m. spinning these 45s. Thank you all for all all your requests. And you can send me your requests at vinyltreasures@aol.com. If I have the 45, I'll play it. If I don't, I'll try to buy it. If it's not that expensive, but I'll definitely put it on my want list. We continue here. We head to Providence, Rhode Island now for a request for George Tompkins. This group had 3 releases on the New York-based Felsted label. Let's give a listen to their 3rd release. This charted number 19 on WPDQ. No, Dave, not New Jersey, in Jacksonville, Florida. It features Richard A. Jones on lead. This is going out to George Tompkins here. June 1959. They are the Castelliers. The Castelliers out of Providence, Rhode Island on the Felsted label. The song is called I'll Be Around.
I'll be anything you want me to be. I'll do anything you want me to do. I'll be anything you want me to be. So I'll be around, no matter how you treat me now. Oh, I'll be around from now on. From now on. And your latest love can never last. And when it's past, oh, I'll be around when he's gone. When he's gone. If you find a love like mine just now and then, drop me a line. You say you're feeling fine, and when things go wrong, perhaps you see you're meant for me. Oh, I'll be around from now on. From now I'll be around.
As by request for George Tompkins there, that's a nice tune by the Castelliers. Richard A. Jones on lead, June 1959 on the Felsted label. I know Mark Goldfarb, he had that record. He showed it. I saw it today. I was in a little bit of a chat with Braden and Mark today, and they were showing their records while I was researching the show. But I mentioned that I was going to play this record tonight. That they liked that one there in the chat room. They would have another release on the Planet label out of Rhode Island. That actually would be picked up by Donna Records. How weird that was that Bob Keane would pick up their Planet release. But anyway, let's continue here for this next female singer. She used to perform at all the Alan Freed live concert shows in New York City. And this was a song that my aunt had in her collection. And she lip-synced this song in the Alan Freed movie. If you saw the movie, it was called Go, Johnny, Go. I think Jimmy Clanton, he was in it. And they had the Cadillacs were on the show. I forget who else. They were singing on stage, and this gal came out in like her poodle skirt, and she was known as the blonde bombshell. I'm sure Dave the Rave, he wouldn't mind dating her. I don't know about now, but definitely back in 1958. But this is her 6th of 7 releases on George Goldner's Gone record label. It's the blonde bombshell, Miss Joanne Campbell. And this tune written by Bo Diddley, believe it or not. This one from May 1959. Give a listen to Joanne Campbell on the Gone label with a song entitled Mama, parentheses, Can I Go Out Tonight? As Miss Joanne Campbell there, and a group in the background there. Who knows where they are? Studio singers, I guess. That one there, May 1959 release. That is her 6th of 7 releases on George Goldner's Gone record label. Mama, Can I Go Out Tonight? A tune written by Bo Diddley. Bo Diddley wrote that tune. He gets the writer credits. That was a 45 my aunt had in her collection. We continue here. We continue with the request. This one for Lino, listening in California. He's in our YouTube chat. He requested this group called The Majors, and not the same Majors that recorded for the Imperial label. This is a duo. I think this is a duo. They sound like a duo. And for some reason, Felsted Records issued this twice. This originally came out in May of 1959. Then they used a new number to release this again in 1964. I don't know why they would do it. Maybe for the flip side. I don't know. But anyway, I like the song, and Lino asked if I had it. We're going to spin it for Lino by request. These are The Majors from May 1959 on Felsted with a song entitled Les Quoi.
Well, you love me like I want you to do. All I'm asking you
is a place where we will marry. Beauty's your charm. Amor, amor, I love you. To hold you in my arms. Love me like I want you to do. All I'm asking you is marry me in l'espoir. Marry me in l'espoir. Marry me in l'espoir.
As by request for Lino, as Johnny G getting caught here, I got a television on in the background there that went out there. But anyway, that's on the Felsted record label. Why? I don't know why Felsted would release this record twice. We're going to give a listen to the flip here for a second. Maybe it's the flip side, but those are the majors. Kind of like a Robert and Johnny type sound there. May 1959 going out to Lino. The majors with Lesqua, L-E-S space Q-U-A on the Felsted label. Why they would the other side is called Come Go With Me. It's not the Dell Vikings record. Let me just see if they would use this side here. Well, somebody wrote 30 on this side. The flip side, just checking.
Darling, come on, go with me. Take a trip across the sea, 'cause I love you so.
Okay, not a bad record, but anyway, we're going to continue here. That was not scheduled for play because I pulled 50 records for a Saturday night here, so we're on record number 37 here, and actually this is a record. We're going to move into 1960 now, and I was saddened to hear of the sudden passing of Mary Wilson, one of the Supremes there. Very sad. She passed away suddenly on February 8th. And she really didn't do a lot of leads with the Supremes, at least not on 45. I think she had a record on LP cut on Meet the Supremes, and I think another one on the Supremes, A Go-Go, another one of the LPs. But I wasn't sure, because I had the Primettes 45, and I knew Diana Ross is on the A side of the record, but the flip side, I noticed that Mary Wilson does the lead on this. And this song came out on Robert West's Lupine label, and they were known as the Primettes. And, excuse me, she does lead on the B side of the record, and you're going to hear the high falsetto in the background. That's Florence Ballard doing the high falsetto. But I think there might have been another girl in the group. If John Clemente was here, he would be able to comment. But this is my tribute to the late Mary Wilson. This is on the Lupine label. Now, lots of stuff swirling around with the release date of this. And I think Fred actually had it right when he was a member of 45 Cat. This record is a 1960 release. Ferdy Gonzalez has it March of 59, but I think it's really March of 1960. And you look at the label style, because Lupine reused their numbers. These Lupine releases start with LR. So if you look at the Lupine releases and look at the label styles, it's the ones that have Detroit 6, Michigan. That dates the record. So you can check it on 45 Cat. It's kind of like all messed up. But I think, Fred, you agree this was an early 1960s release, I say. That's my opinion when this record came out. But anyway, this is my tribute to the late Mary Wilson. She is on lead here. These are the Primettes. They later on recorded as the Supremes. I'm going to say March 1960, Lupine Records. The song is called Pretty Baby.
Pretty baby,
That's a Primettes. Whoops. Hold on, Johnny G. Getting caught here tonight. Mistakes. Anyway, that's my tribute to the late Mary Wilson there. Primettes, March 1960 release on the Lupine record label. Pretty Baby is the name of that. Diana Ross on the flip. Who typed it in the chat room there? Tears of Sorrow. She's doing a lead on the flip side. They got Daryl wants to hear. We'll see how many requests I get for next week to fit it in here. Let's continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show as we go back out to the West Coast. This again for Matey Campoy. This is a request. Thank you for this one, Matey, as she wanted to hear the Poets. This is on the Shade label. Came out in August of 1960. This group is a reincarnation of the Echoes that I played earlier, recorded for the Specialty label and the Combo label, and also backed up that, what was his name? Roberts. Oh God, Johnny G losing his mind on the Impala label. But anyway, this is by request for Matey. This one here, actually, this is Sonny Roberts. I take it back. They backed up Sonny Roberts and the Echoes in 1957 with a song called Never Let You Go. And here is that song again, resung by this group called the Poets from August of 1960. So there is some connection there. And maybe Elmo Jones Jr. is on lead. I'm not sure. But it's also a rare 45. This is going out to Matey Campoy, August 1960, the Poets on Shade. Their rendition of the tune Never Let You Go.
And to hold you all the time, darling, you should know I love you so, and I'll never let you go. Tell me, is your love still true? And you'll never know, you'll never make your baby boy blue. Darling, you should know that I'm the one that loves you so, and I'll never let you go. I want a little girl that will really hold me. That will always love me. Love me from day up till night. So tell me, is your love still true? And you'll never know, you'll never make your daddy boy blue.
By request for Matey Campoy there. Those are the Poets. The Poets from August 1960 on the Shade label. Never Let You Go is the name of the tune. Originally done by Sonny Roberts and the Echoes on the Impala label in 1957. But both hard records to get. I think that Impala much more harder to get. Anyway, Rick, you can still send me your requests. Like I said, send me 3 because if you miss one week, I'll just carry it over. So if at least I have the requests. If you tune in, you can tune in on the archive if you can't listen live or what. That's what's good about the YouTube archive. You can also go to my website, Vinyl Treasures, at vinyltreasures.net. I have my own website. You can download the show there, or you can stream it live, or you can also go to YouTube. I haven't had any copyright issues lately. I think they're blocking it in North Korea, Cuba, and Iran. I don't know if I have many listeners in those countries, but as long as the UK and most of Europe and the United States is not, and Mexico is not, those are where the majority of my listeners are. But anyway, I hope you're digging on the tunes tonight. We continue here. And I don't play many hits on the Vinyl Treasure Show, usually lots of obscurities. My buddy Dave the Rave, he plays more hits than I do, but I do play some hits. And here's a request for Katie of Vintage and Vinyl. She wanted to hear this group from Brooklyn, New York. It's their debut single, came out on Andy Leonetti's Tag label out of New York City, and it's a standard song. Believe it or not, this song was first done in 1937 by the Tommy Dorsey Orchestra, and this was a big hit for the group. This was number 11 both on Billboard and Cashbox. It was a big number one record up in Rochester, New York for WVET, and the true, you collectors out there, if you have this record, the true first presses of this come out on a styrene label. I showed you my copy. It was on a maroon. I think that is a true first press, but I also have it on a blue styrene label. And I hate styrene. I hate styrene 45s. But the hit version of it is a nice hard vinyl, and that's how I like it, hard vinyl. It's the best way to go. But anyway, by request for Katie of Vintage and Vinyl, Lenny Coco on lead. September 1960 release. They're called The Chimes on Tag Records, and their hit called Once in a While. As by request for new record collector Katie of Vintage and Vinyl. Those are the Chimes. The Chimes, Lenny Coco on lead. That is their debut single. That's their biggest hit. September 1960 on the Tag label. First, the Styrenes are the originals, I think probably by Shelley Products. I think they look like those Shelley Products presses, you know, with the X's in the label, like the Shangri-Las. The Shangri-Las on Redbird, they have those X's. I think also some of the lorries, they were made. I hate styrene, I'm telling you, as it brings me to this next record, which is a request for Joe Shakatan. I also know that George Tompkins, he also requested this record a while back. I just haven't had a chance to play it. I'm thinking this group is out of Houston, Texas. That's where the label's from. It's on Jim Martin's marquee label, and like I said, this is on styrene, so this has a little bit of that styrene static to it, and that's why I hate styrene 45s. So I apologize in advance. It's not so bad, but it's noticeable, a little bit noticeable, but it's a great tune, and it's the group's only release. They're called the Romancers. It features Wilbert Burleson on lead. So we're going to send this one. This is by request for Joe Shakatana. We're also going to send it out to George Tompkins. We go back to September 1960. The Romancers on the marquee label. It's called Meet Me at the Altar.
If you really want me to love you as I always do, then you'll meet me at the altar, and we'll start anew. If you really feel broken-hearted as I feel too, then you'll meet me at the altar, and we'll start over again. There'll be no tears, there'll be no unfaithfulness, my darling, my dear. We'll share a love that will always last. For eternity. If you really want me and need me as I need you, then you'll meet me at the altar, and we'll start all over again, and we'll start over
We'll send that one out to Joe Shakatano and George Tompkins. Didn't sound that bad at the end, but in the beginning there, I don't know what these styrene records, but I was looking for another copy. Somebody had one, maybe, I think at the end of last year, and it wasn't even in that great of a shape. It had some scratches in it. I bid on it, and I bid like $30. The thing went like for $50. I was shocked that it went for so much with the scratches on it. But anyway, that's a cool tune there. The Romancers, September 1960 release on the marquee label Meet Me at the Altar. I say that to Barbara all the time. Let's continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. We move into 1961. Now, on last week's show, I played a request for Matey Campboy. She requested the Jiving Juniors. They are a group out of Kingston, Jamaica. It was on the Asnes label, which was out of the Bronx, New York, so they definitely made that. They went from the Bronx to Jamaica probably quite often to record, and they also have a bunch of releases on UK. What is that UK label they have it on? Rosabelle and all those others, because I have those 45s. London Records. Johnny G drawing a blank here. But the side I played for Matey was last week was Sweet as an Angel. And it was listener Reed King, listening in Oregon. He requested the flip side. So I'm going to play this one for Reed here. It features Derek Harriott on lead. Going out to Reed, August 61, the Jiving Juniors. That's a cool name, I'd say. On the Asnes label, it's called Moonlight Lover.
Oh, moonlight lover, you're my moonlight lover. Whoa, yeah, whoa, whoa. Yeah. Yes, you know I want you. Yeah, I need you by my side. I love you now and forever, and I wish you were my guide, my moonlight lover. Lover, oh my lover, life was so divine. Baby, come back, baby, and say you'll always be mine. Darling, if you ever think of me or change your mind, I'm yours. You're all I pray for, and I love you till the end of time, my moonlight lover. Oh, lover, yeah, lover. Oh, lover, 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 lover.
As by request for Reed King, they're the Jiving Juniors. Jiving Juniors, Derek Harriott on lead. August 61 release, Moonlight Lover, came out on the Asnes label out of the Bronx, New York. Sweet as an Angel is the cool ballad on the flip. Johnny G here, we're going to go through. Got some more requests to get through here. We're going to do it. Here's one for Nat Papagallo. This group is from West Philadelphia. They have two releases on Jerry Ross's Cheryl label. Nat requested their first, and this one charted number 24 on WABC here in New York City in 1961. Features the lead of Jackie Marshall. Nat, you have this in your jukebox when you play this record? I'm asking you. The Larks here, January 61 on Cheryl. Their tune called It's Unbelievable.
I love you dearly. Please stay near me.
It's unbelievable.
As by request for Nat Papagallo there, Byron says a psychedelic saxophone in the background there. He has very interesting description on that, but to good vocals by the Larks there. Jackie Marshall on lead, January 61. That's the first of two on the Cheryl label, Jerry Ross's Cheryl record label. It's unbelievable. Sometimes it's unbelievable that Johnny G has all these requests, I have to say, but I have a lot of records I do. They're not all 50s, but in early 60s, but I have a lot. I got to get my 60s records in order. So anyway, but my 50s and early 60s, they're kind of in order. But anyway, let's continue here. Here's a request for Cheryl Morgan. This is the second release for this group from the Queens, New York. Their biggest hit was when they provided vocal background to Kathy Jean. Kathy Jean on her hit Please Love Me Forever. But their hit was Glory of Love. But this is their second release on the Valmore record label with Steve Suskin. He's the lead singer on this. And this is actually a cover tune. This was first done by Don Cherry in 1955 on the Columbia label. But this record did well here in New York City. This was number 13 on WABC radio here in New York City. This is going out to Cheryl Morgan. June 61 release for the Roommates on Valmore and their rendition of the tune Band of Gold on Styrene. Yuck.
Band of gold, band of gold, band of gold.
One desire, just want a little band of gold to prove that you're mine. Don't want the world to have and hold, for fate is not my line. Just want a little band of gold to prove that you're mine. Some sail away to Araby and other lands of mystery, but all the wonders that they see will never tell me. Their memories will soon grow cold, but till the end of time, we'll have a little band of gold to prove that you're mine. Don't want the world to have and hold, for fate is not my line. Just want a little band of gold to prove that you're mine. All mine.
As by request for listener Cheryl Morgan there, the Roommates. Steve Suskin, he's the lead singer, June 1961, normally backing up Kathy Jean. That's their own release there, their second release on the Valmore label. Band of Gold is the name of the tune. We continue here. We go back to Philadelphia, PA, to a label called Don L Records. This is by request for Braden McCallow. He will never get this on a 78, that is for sure. But I like both sides of this 45 as they were written by the lead singer. His name is William L. Lucas Jr., and his group is called The Citations. This is from March of 1962. We send it out to Braden, The Citations on Don L Records. It's called It Hurts Me.
It hurts me to see you leave. It hurts me to see you grieve. Oh, darling, it hurts me so. Say goodbye, it brings the tears into my eyes. Oh, darling, it hurts me so much. Darling, so much you'll never know. So please, come on back home into my arms, where you belong. For darling. It hurts me so. Hurts me so.
As by request for Braden McCallow, that is a good two-sided 45. They're already requesting the flip side for next week, Kiss in the Night. But those are the citations there. With William L. Lucas Jr. on lead, he wrote the tune March 1962, Donnell Records out of Philadelphia. It hurts me. Definitely doesn't hurt Johnny G, spinning records in Vinyltreasure overtime. Let's continue here for this next 45 on Ray Doggett's Dante label out of the state of Texas. And this group is called the Epics. They backed up other artists on the label. One that comes to mind is Dean Scott. Dean Scott does a nice tune called It's Never Too Late, backed with I Wanna Get Married. But the Epics backed him up on that. But this is the first of three they recorded, on the Dante label. Female lead on this. She's just identified on the label as Jeannie. I think I did have her name, Charlene, on one of the research times I played this record. But I like this record a lot, from May 1962. Give a listen to the Epics on Dante. It's called So Many Times.
So many times I long to kiss your lips. So many times touch your fingertips, but it ain't gonna happen. No, it won't happen. It ain't gonna happen one more time. Oh, one more time. So many times I'll always get tired. So many times I needed you to hold me tight, but it ain't gonna happen. No, it won't happen. It ain't gonna happen one more time. So many times you've hurt me, but you won't hurt me anymore. There'll be no more times like this, dear.
May 1962 release there for the Epics. Jeannie, she's the lead singer. I don't know her last name there, but she's mentioned on the label, on the Dante label, so many times is the name of the tune. They're talking about my typing. I used to type 70 words a minute, believe it or not. And I had to take typing in high school. I had severe knee surgery as a sophomore where I couldn't play any sports, couldn't play gym. I think I couldn't play until my senior year, and the only things I could play were archery, badminton. I couldn't play basketball. I could golf. Archery I was able to do, but the other sports I couldn't do. There were too much contact sports, couldn't do it because of my knee replacement, tendon transplant I had, and I became a typist. No, I didn't. I took typing. I knew I would be able to use it in college when I went to college. But anyway, Johnny G here, almost losing his voice. We got a few more records to go here, like 4 records to go. We're going to sign off. But here's a request from my number 1 California listener, Matey Campboy. We go to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania for this great group. And you all know they had a big hit back in 1957. Maybe you own it on the Phoebe label. Maybe you own it on the Dot label. But Come Go With Me, a great record, a classic record from 1957, a 45 my aunt purchased when she first heard it on the radio. But they had a bunch of releases on the ABC Paramount record label, and Matey requested their 6th of 7. And this one features Crip Johnson on lead. So by request for Matey Campboy, we go to December 1962. This is on the ABC Paramount record label. These are the Del Vikings with Crip Johnson on lead. It's called An Angel Up in Heaven.
Must have sent you to me, an angel up in heaven. Must have looked right through me and saw my empty arms. Needed someone just like you, with a heart so true, possessed by you, to love me like you do. An angel up in heaven must have heard me crying. Each night about 11, I'd be almost dying, but now that you're mine, everything's just fine. Our love's so divine, thanks to an angel in heaven. An angel up in heaven must have heard me crying each night about 11. I'd be almost dying, but now that you're mine, everything's just fine. Our love's so divine, thanks to an angel up in
I haven't played that in a long time. Thanks for requesting that, Matey Campboy. The Del Vikings there, December 1962 on the ABC Paramount record label, An Angel Up in Heaven, featuring Crip Johnson on lead for that one. We got one more request for Katie of Vintage and Vinyl, and this record, the first time I heard it, Gus Gossard played this record. Well, that's the first time I heard it. He played it quite a bit. And the lead singer on this has a very high falsetto voice, almost sounding like a bird. Maybe they should have named themselves after a bird, but no, they named themselves after a snake. They're a group out of Philadelphia. They're called the Cobras, and it features Billy Taylor on lead. And Billy Taylor was also a member of the Castells that recorded for the Grand label. This one charted number 10 on WAMS in Wilmington, Delaware. And this is from April of 1964. Going out to Katie. These are the Cobras. Billy Taylor on lead with the Cobras on the Swan label. The song is called La La. As by request for Katie of Vintage and Vinyl, the Cobras. Cobras, their April 1964 release on the Swan label, La La. Billy Taylor on lead. I'm telling you, when sometimes Gus Gossard would play the records and he wouldn't give the title or the group. Well, he would sometimes give the group. He'd say, like, those are the Cobras. And then you wouldn't hear the song. So I'm like, what is this song? It's like, when I had it on my want list, I wrote down, Hey Baby, Be My Lover. I'm going, do you have a song, Hey Baby, Be My Lover? He goes, what are you talking about? I said, it's by the Cobras. So they said, you mean La La by the Cobras? I was like, is that it? I wasn't sure. But that's how that's how it was when I was a young teenager learning about this music. But anyway, let's continue here. 2 more 45s to go here. And this is a request for my number 1 California listener, Mady Campboy, listening out in California, as she requested this 15-year-old gal from Newark, New Jersey. She had 3 releases on the Ascot record label. This is her first, produced by Jerry Ragavoy, arranged by Gary Sherman. This one from January 1964. Her name is Debbie Rollins. I think it says William Robinson. Did Smokey Robinson write this? Possibly. I'll show it to you again. in the chat there. January 64. This is going out to Matey Campboy, Debbie Rollins on the Ascot label with a song entitled Someone on Styrene. Scratch there at the end. What do you want for a 10-cent record? She sounds like Maureen Gray on there a little bit, didn't she? Sound a little bit like Maureen Gray. But anyway, that's a request for listener Matey Campboy, my number one listener in California. Debbie Rollins there, January 1964 release. Debbie Rollins on the Ascot record label. Was that her? That was her first of three. What else did I say here? In 1968, she recorded as a duet with Leroy Hudson as Sugar and Spice on the Cap label. Did you know that? That was a tidbit from Charlene. Anyway, that's going to do it for Johnny G and the Vinyl Treasure Show. Want to thank you for joining Johnny G, listening to cool original 45s out of my collection. You want to get in touch with me, send me an email at vinyltreasures@aol.com. Let me know what you think about the show. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and click the like button, and also click the bell to get notifications when I'm on live. You should get an email. Fred, I don't know if Fred still gets the email or not, or goes to his spam, but anyway, he's the only one. I think sometimes it comes late. Joe at Chacatano, I think you get it late sometimes, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, thank you so much for tuning in tonight. I enjoy sharing my record collection with you, the Top Shelf Oldies and YouTube listeners. And that's going to do it for tonight. We're going to close the show with a request for Cheryl Cheryl Morgan. This group consisted of two members of the Four Epics, Jimmy Mullen and Jack McKnight, along with Bobby Sheeran and Tony Barbella. Collectively, they were known as the Vespers. And again, yes, this is on the Swan label again, closing with two Swan 45s. This record was number 24 on WAMS out of Wilmington, Delaware. It's from September 63. Cheryl requested the Vespers on the Swan label. It's called Mr. Cupid. And how appropriate to close with a record for Valentine's Day. We're already an hour and 24 minutes into Valentine's Day, and I know Barbara did not get her roses yet. And I checked. I sent her 24 roses on the 9th. No, on the 10th. Use this. I usually use a local place, but I checked. They gave me a tracking number. It's in 2 towns over in Elmsford. They had it at 5:49 this morning. Are they delivering tomorrow? It's UPS. Does UPS deliver tomorrow? I hope she gets them tomorrow in the snow ice storm we're supposed to get. But anyway, that's going to do it for Johnny G and the Vinyl Treasure Show. Thank you so much for tuning in. Tune in tomorrow evening for my buddy Dave the Rave. If you like 1960s soul and garage records, Dave is a record collector, record geek like I am. He just wishes he had as many 45s as I did. But anyway, he plays all 45s. He has 2 turntables now. So tune in tomorrow evening to my buddy Dave the Rave and Relics and Rarities, 9 o'clock, 9 to midnight on TopShelfOldies.org. And Dave doesn't broadcast on YouTube. He wants to be a star like me, but he's got a little ways to go to get to look like Johnny G as this guru record collector. But anyway, Dave does a great show, so please tune in to Dave. And he's my best friend. You got to tune in to Dave tomorrow evening. But that's going to do it, folks. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you, Charlene, again for all your help. Charlene is my administrative assistant. She helps me research the records. I'm busy working during the week, and sometimes I'm very busy, but other times I'm not. Thank God I'm off on Monday for President's Day, so I don't know what I'm going to be doing yet. Maybe shoveling, who knows. But I might be filing some of my 60s records. I have to put them in some kind of order. But anyway, that's going to do it, folks. Again, thank you so much. And I hope to see you here next Saturday at 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time is when I do the Vinyl Treasure Show right after Clark Davis. Clark Davis is on at 8 o'clock on Top Shelf Oldies. I follow Clark on Top Shelf Oldies, and then I'm on YouTube and Top Shelf on the stream. But Top Shelf Oldies, a great station. You need to check out the other shows during the week, beginning at 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock on Top Shelf Oldies, all these cool DJs we have. But I am the 50s guy, or at least the 50s collector of the 45. So hopefully you enjoyed what you heard tonight. I know it's a long time, but where does the time go? Listening to great music. Anyway, thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. Everybody be safe. Have a safe and happy week. I'll see you next Saturday beginning at 10 o'clock. Just want to say, everybody, so long.
Mr. Cupid, won't you listen, sir? Hey, Mr. Cupid, I really love her. Say, Mr. Cupid, I love to hold her. So, Mr. Cupid, aim your arrow at her heart. Arrow at her heart. Mr. Cupid, don't you wait too long. Now, Mr. Cupid, oh, please don't leave me wrong. Say, Mr. Cupid, I love to hold her. So, Mr. Cupid, aim your arrow at
Okay, folks, that's gonna. Oh, actually, I didn't show you the last two records there. I knew people in the chat room tonight, so Johnny G's got to get used to the names. I don't know all the names of you guys, but anyway, thanks so much, folks. Here's Matey's request. This I paid 10 cents for this record. It's Debbie Rollins. Someone. See that William Robinson? Is that Smokey Robinson that wrote this record? Must be. Anyway, that's that record. And this record, it's funny, I got this record from some guy up in upstate Albany, New York for like a couple cents here. Mr. Cupid for Valentine's Day. Wishing everybody a happy Valentine's Day. Like I said, I hope Barbara gets her flowers. We'll see. She sounded a little bit depressed when I spoke to her this evening before the show. But anyway, again, thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Send me an email, vinyltreasures@aol.com. We'll see how many. I'm getting a lot of requests, but I like to have them. I'll be able to continue them. You know, next week's, again, another 50s show. The last Saturday of every month, I do a 1964 to 69 show, or 63 to 70 show. So I kind of give the 50s guys a break, and I go into my, soul and garage and, sunshine pop kind of thing. Got to mix it up a little bit. But I really like soul music and transitional music for that show. But anyway, I got some requests, a little bit of garage stuff that they want to hear. So maybe if I find those records, I'm going to start early to pull those records out. But I don't even know what I have in my 1960s collection. Dave the Rave would love to come here and just filter through my record collection. And Dave's got a bunch of boxes that I need to go through, believe it or not, maybe after the pandemic. Then I'll try to have some guests here, hopefully when the pandemic is over, because I got some guests lined up to come over and bring their records. They can bring 78s or 45s. We'll do them here up here in the, well, it's supposed to be the no humidity basement, but it's really the no humidity attic. And I got to clean it up, though. I got a lot of cleaning to do. But anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. I'll see you guys next week. Okay, stay safe, watch the snow, and stay warm. Charlene, I hope your pipes don't break, because it's really, really cold in Texas now, she tells me. Good night, everybody. So long. Bye-bye.